Ruby are all loaded up and headed to Duncan. We're going to go meet up with a friend of mine and see if we can't connect Duncan to Nanaimo. Victoria to Nanaimo via the back roads for the longest time. I think that's just a personal mission of mine. I don't know why I have to do it, but I want to. So this is kind of stage one of that mission. What do you think, Ruby? You ready?
Yeah, she's ready. This trip kicks off just outside Duncan, BC, a spot that's basically home turf for Vancouver Island's off-road crowd. Today I'm riding with Adam. He's local to the area, which helps. There's nothing like having someone on the trail who actually knows where they're going. Not that I mind getting lost once in a while, but this run isn't about wandering. This is about learning the area, figuring out where the trails connect, which ones dead end, and which exits don't come back to bite you later. We got aired down, made some quick introductions to Adam's personal trail quest, and hit the dirt. First trail came up fast, a winding loop that climbs back along the mountainside. Those trails that gives you views through the trees, just often enough to remind you why you're out here. It's not a technical trail, but it's got just enough dips and ruts to keep your attention. And out here, it's easy to get turned around. The trail system branches off in every direction, like a spider web. If you're not running offline maps or something like Gaia, you can get lost real fast. I'm in the 4xe on this trip, 2-inch lift, 35-inch Nito trail grapplers, and just enough armor to not feel totally stupid. The electric torque in this thing is unreal on tight crawls, quiet too. Honestly, it's kind of spooky hearing the forest more than the engine sometimes. Adam, meanwhile, is running a stock 2024 4-door Rubicon. No lift, no fuss, brand new, paint still shining, the kind of Jeep that hasn't been humbled yet. hit a few tight sections early on, the kind where the trees start closing in and your mirrors suddenly feel a lot more fragile. There's nothing major here, no winching, no spotting, but enough action to make it clear. This isn't a fire road cruise, and the sunlight filtering through the trees. It had that perfect golden look. Just enough warmth to make you forget you're probably scratching up your door panels. That's the part I love, the calm between the obstacles, when you're just rolling, windows down, tires humming, forest alive around you. That's trail therapy right there. Let me take a second to say this. If you ever get the chance to come out to Vancouver Island for some wheeling, make sure you check out the Lake Cowichan area. I'm not kidding. That place has it all. From beginner trails you could run in a stock rig with decent tires, to advanced routes that'll absolutely test your setup and your nerve. It's a mix of forestry roads, deep forest sections, old logging cuts, river crossings, technical climbs, and everything in between. Some of the views out there are next level. I mean real, top of the world stuff. You'll go from mossy rainforest to wide open ridgelines in the same day. But here's the thing, and I can't stress this enough. Don't come out here alone. Even the easy trails can turn on you quick. Weather changes, roads wash out, trees come down, and a flat tire 40 kilometers from the nearest cell signal, that's not an Instagram moment. That's a problem. So yeah, bring a buddy, bring recovery gear, and bring some common sense, because Cowichan will show you a good time, but it doesn't pull punches. We came up on a good little terrain dip, so I busted out the drone. I'm still working on my piloting skills, which is a nice way of saying I've crashed more than I'd like to admit. But today the air was still, the light was perfect, and I think I got a few decent shots.
Controller into this, please.
here's a little Jeep trivia while we cruise. The Wrangler 4xe isn't just a gimmick. This rig puts out 375 horsepower and 470 pound-feet of torque, same as the 392 V8 in some cases. But instead of roaring through the woods, it whispers. You get that instant torque in electric mode, plus the range of a gas engine when you need it. Is it traditional? Nah, but it's smart. And out here, smart counts. The deeper we got into the trail network, the more it started to blur together in a good way. Every dip, every climb, every sharp corner was like a different rhythm in the same song. It keeps your brain active. You're never bored. You're always scanning. Where's the line? How soft's that edge? Can I squeeze through there without a new dent? And just when I thought we were heading out to some open road, Adam would take a sharp right back into the bush. He knows these trails like a second home. And he wasn't done playing. I'll be honest, I was having a great time. Those terrain dips and narrow creek beds, that's my happy place. Even when I'm staring down a steep decline thinking, this might be a bad idea, there's this low-key thrill in that uncertainty. It's fear and excitement twisted together. That's what makes this stuff addictive. All right, so this one right here, definitely one of the more fun obstacles we hit that day. Now I know, on camera, it probably doesn't look like much. Just a little drop, a little climb, but trust me, it was steeper than it looks, dropping right into a creek bed, and the climb out had just enough bite to keep it interesting. This is the kind of stuff I live for. Remember, if you are enjoying my content, to please like, subscribe, and share. The 4xe has been solid today. That electric torque off the line, unreal. especially on the tighter stuff where you want finesse over brute force. I've been staying mostly in hybrid mode, keeps the battery charged while giving me instant response when I need it. Some folks still think electric means weak. Nah, torque's torque. And this thing's got plenty. The best part? You can sneak up on wildlife like a forest ninja. No revving, no growling, just tires and dirt. Until the skid plates start talking. Then yeah, you're not sneaking up on anything. Fun fact, Jeep's first off-roaders were never meant for us. They were designed for military use in World War II. The original Willys MB was basically a go-anywhere mule with 4 wheels. Fast forward 80 years, and here we are, still crawling over stuff we probably shouldn't be, just with heated seats and Bluetooth.
You pant a lot.
I've done a few solo trips in the past. Sometimes you just want quiet, just you, the rig, and a trail map. But I'll be honest, every time I've broken something on my own, I've instantly regretted it. Nothing like staring at a flat tire or a dead winch with nobody in sight. You learn to respect the woods real quick that way. So yeah,
You want them? No,
bring a buddy, even if you never end up needing the support or pushing. It's still better to have someone with you than be out alone.
You gotta be kidding. Oh my dear Jesus. In holy heaven.
This place, with the tall trees, thick brush, and the light cutting in through the canopy, It just feels prehistoric. Like if a raptor came charging out of that brush right now, I'd hit reverse, pray the tires hold, and hope I'm faster than Adam. And here's the wild part. That's not just me being dramatic. Parts of Jurassic World Dominion, one of the more recent Jurassic Park films, was actually shot right here on Vancouver Island. They used areas around Cathedral Grove, Campbell River, and other deep forest locations that look just like this. No soundstage, no green screen, just real Pacific Northwest jungle, thick, green, and totally capable of hiding a dinosaur or two. And speaking of dinosaurs, let's talk about the Jeeps. Back in the original Jurassic Park, they ran Jeep YJ Saharas. Sand beige, red stripes, big Jurassic Park logos on the doors. Just one of the many reasons I fell in love with Jeeps as a kid. They were mostly stock, just cleaned up with light bars, tube bumpers, and that safari tour vibe. And those Jeeps, they became icons. To this day, people still build replicas, full movie accurate paint jobs, number decals, you name it. But fast forward to Jurassic World Dominion, and Jeep brought something new to the table. The Gladiator. Yeah, the four-door truck version of the Wrangler finally got its Hollywood moment. There's a chase scene in the movie. Motorcycles, dinosaurs, chaos everywhere. And right in the middle of it, there's a fully built Gladiator flying through the woods. Lifted, armored 37s. And they didn't hold back. It looked mean. It looked a lot like my own Gobi Gladiator does. Honestly, it was one of the few times Jeep got proper screen time in the newer films. And it was the perfect rig for it. That long wheelbase, the aggressive stance, it just looked like it belonged in that kind of setting. It also made sense from a story perspective. Gladiators have that mix of utility and trail ability. So if you're trying to survive in a world where dinosaurs are loose again, you're going to want a rig that can carry gear, haul ass, and take a hit. And here's the kicker. That wasn't some movie prop built just for show. It was a real Gladiator, real engine, real suspension, real capability. I think they totaled 4 or 5 during production. So now I'm out here, rolling through forest that looks almost identical. And I can't not picture myself in the middle of that chase. Except instead of dodging dinosaurs, I'm trying not to catch a tree branch to the face. One of these days, I swear I'm gonna Jurassic wrap a Jeep, go full JP-18 tribute with modern touches. Square headlights optional, but for now, I'll just keep wheeling through the real-world version of Isla Nublar, hoping the only thing I get chased by out here is the weather.
Pay attention to your driving. I am. Come on, Dad. Well, we still have full tank.
The terrain out here keeps shifting. 1 minute it's wide open logging roads. The next you're ducking under branches, wondering if you remember to fold in your mirrors. I love that unpredictability. It keeps you in the moment. You're not thinking about bills or emails or whatever's sitting in your inbox. You're thinking about the next bend, the next line, the next challenge.
Is that where we went down?
Yeah. Oh my God. Go crawl over this stump. You're gonna hit the side here.
What?
There's a stump right beside you here on my side.
Okay. Am I good?
Yeah. I'm gonna go over it.
So it has some good footage from the outside. Get the drone flying. He's towing a stick.
What?
Adam is towing a stick.
Eventually, we dropped down a steep hill onto a Forest Service road, and for a bit we actually made some progress. Picked up some speed, stretched the suspension out a bit, and made good time. I figured, alright, we're finally closing the distance toward Nanaimo. After cruising through a bunch of thick scrub and washed out sections, we rolled up to what should have been our exit, and it was completely torn up, blocked, zero chance of getting through. So, time to backtrack. We turned the rigs around and made our way toward Ladysmith, hoping we'd find an open gate closer to town. Just 2 rigs, no clear exit, and a lot of dust. And that right there, that's off-roading. It doesn't always go to plan. You don't always get where you meant to go. Sometimes the trail has other ideas, and sometimes that's exactly the point. We didn't make it to Nanaimo. Check out some of my other upcoming content about everything I like to pack in my rig to keep not only prepared for anything, but also safe from local wildlife. Recovery gear is one of those things you don't appreciate until you need it. And when you need it, you really need it. I keep a winch, soft shackles, a kinetic rope, and a jack I probably don't use as often as I should. But hey, it's there. Most of this stuff sits unused 95% of the time. But that other 5%, yeah, that's what separates getting home from calling for help. We ended up in Ladysmith, a little scratched up, a little hungry, but totally satisfied. Because that's the thing about days like this. They never go the way you expect, but they always give you a story worth telling. If you enjoyed the ride, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who probably should have aired down and didn't. It really helps keep this rolling. Thanks for riding along, and I'll see you guys on the next one.